Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, sisters in Islam. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillah for the gift of life. Alhamdulillah, we are alive today. Alhamdulillah, we are still within the fold of our Islam. My name is Sakina Omolola Amosu, and inshallah, you're welcome to Bounties. This is a pre-Ramadan lecture to actually prepare us ahead of the holy month of Ramadan. And I beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to count us among the blessed Muslims who will be witnessing this year's Ramadan. May He, in His infinite mercy, give us the opportunity to serve Him better than we did last Ramadan. And inshallah, may this not be our last Ramadan on the surface of the earth. Once more, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Once again, like I said, my name is Sakina. Inshallah, I'm going to be your speaker for today. And the topic is the spiritual reflection in preparation to Ramadan. First and foremost, in a bit to really get it right, I beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the wisdom and the understanding of the lecture we're about to talk about. Talking about Ramadan, spiritual reflection, cultivating positive habits, and strengthening one's connectedness to Allah. First and foremost, I want us to have a good understanding of what spiritualism is all about. Now, most of the time, when we hear the word spiritualism, it is usually, kind of a scary term that at times we feel like it is not part of what Islam entails. But the thing is, the origin of Islam, the expectation, the total package, the entirety of what is required of a Muslim is actually to be spiritual in their dealings. Now, when I mean spiritual in our dealings, first of all, let us just look at what is called spiritualism. Why I said it's a little bit like a word that doesn't look like it's part of our deen. When I was young, the first time I'm going to hear about the word spirit or spiritual in the realm of Islam is actually from the Al Tariqa. And I was like, okay, spiritualism or spirits, does it have a positive side? Could it have a possible positive meaning to our deen? Now, I'm going to start by giving us a clear definition of what spiritualism is all about. Spiritualism is from the word ruhuniya. It is defined in Islam as the presence of somebody's consciousness, your spiritual relationship with Allah. Yes, your solely relationship with all the Almighty. And how do we attain this even in the month of Ramadan? Now, we have to discuss this. This is important for us to know that to prepare us ahead of the month of Ramadan. Now, Ramadan is coming. Everybody is preparing themselves in terms of financials, in terms of food stuff, in terms of everything Ramadan will be needing. But most importantly, the food of the soul, which is lectures, we are also preparing ourselves to be spiritually okay, to be like we are just like we are having to enter, you trying to put a thread through the hole of a needle. You need to prepare it, rub it, do a lot of things to it to actually enter well, go through the needle without stress. Exactly what this program is meant for. Like I said, spiritualism is a relationship with Allah, your connectedness with Allah, how you deal with Allah. And basically, we cannot just attain this spiritualism without passing through some levels. And for us to be spiritually upright as Muslims, certain things have to be in place. And we cannot just rule out this spiritualism in the life of a Muslim without going through all of this. And there are just 5 basic things. These five basic things, identifying them, discussing them, and we are going to look at how are we going to now relate it to our lives in the month of Ramadan and beyond. Now, I want us to quickly look at what, like I've said, I've defined spiritualism and what are the stages of spirituality that we must attain as a Muslim or as a Muslims generally. First and foremost, let me make it clear. To attain that level of spirituality required by an individual Muslim, some things are quite very important. Some things are not negotiable. We cannot just be a believer without having this total package in our soul. It will just be like you have the package of a box, well designed, well wrapped. Unfortunately, there's nothing in the entire package. Then it's going to be empty. So what we need to put in the content is what we are talking about. What our soul needs to know, needs to have before we can wrap it up and present it as a Muslim. Number one is the number one stage of spiritualism that a Muslim needs to attain is basically the aspect of Tawhid. When we talk about Tawhid, quite a good number of time we limit our knowledge of Tawhid to La ilaha illallah. Wallahi, the kalimatu shahada goes beyond the utterance to say La ilaha illallah. We are looking at the kalimatu shahada. Allah Azza wa Jalla had made the Prophet Sallallahu to teach us the stages of kalimatu shahada. However, let me little bit digress and go into the story of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam. When he was looking for his Rabb, he wanted to know who Allah is. Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam saw the moon, saw the sun, saw the stars, and at each point of seeing them and their disappearing, he was wondering, could this be my God? Because my God cannot come and disappear. So he was still wondering who the Lord Almighty is. And that is why we need to have a clear understanding of who is our God. First stage of Tawhid that we all know already, just a reminder, like I said, is to have the Tawhid Rububiyah. This is the general platform of believing that there is God. If you ask anybody, they'll say there is God, though it's now a popular slogan in the world. In Nigeria, we joke about the word there is God, though. Yes, everybody believes there is God. It's a general belief that there is God. The second, even if you ask an idol worshipper, everybody, the Hindus, the Chinese, everybody, the Buddhists, they all believe that there is God. And this is just the first foundation of belief, which is Tawhid rather, which is just to say there is God. Everybody believes there is God. That is Tawhid Rububiyah. The second stage of Tawhid is Tawhid Uluhiyah, the clear understanding of who is your God. And this is why this is where Allah says so many things. So many verses of the Quran pointed as Allah as our God. Now, of course, we have Surah Ikhlas that said, Kul hu Allahu ahad, your Allah is one. Then Allah in another verse, Surah Taha said, Inna Allah, but auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, bismillahir rahmanir rahim. He said, Anna Allah, la ilaha illa anna, that I am Allah. Allah is ascribing that lordship to himself. Said, La ilaha illa anna, there is no God but me. In Surah Al-Ahzab, where Allah was talking about still ascribing the lordship to himself, Allah in Quran 39 verse 62 to 3, there again Allah was talking about himself as the God. This is to distinguish himself from every other deity any other person must have ascribed to himself, to his or herself as their Lord. Many people will say this is God, this is God. People worship different kind of thing as God. But in the Quran, Allah is pointing at himself in several occasions that we already know that Allah is our God. When Allah said, Anna Allah, la ilaha illa anna, In some verse of the Quran, Allah will say, but I was it said, Wallahu alladhi la ilaha illa huwa al-mulkul quddus. I'm still not going to the last part, but these are indications to tell us that Allah is our God. Allah isn't any deity. He said, "Who are calling samawati wal ard," that He is the one that created wama fiha, yes, and everything between it, in it. That He created the heavens and the earth and everything in it. Meaning that everything in the earth belongs to that Allah. Of course, we have not seen Him. Going back to what makes a believer, still coming about the Iman, sorry, the Tawhid. We are talking about the next level again. I'm trying to, because I have 5 levels I really want to talk about here. And Allah on the 3rd one is now giving us the 3rd level of Tawhid, which is Tawhid Sifatu Wasma'Allah. Believing in Allah strongly with everything He has ascribed that He is, not in your own understanding. So a Muslim will not come and join them and call Allah Alagbada Ino. A Muslim will not come and call Allah Arugbu Ojo. These are not the qualities Allah has described Himself. Allah is not Allah Gbogboro because He did not describe Himself as Allah Gbogboro. Why are we elaborating on this? For you to have that connectedness with your God, that spiritual relationship with your God, you first of all need to have a good understanding of who is your God. My God is Allah. Yes, I have a God. That is the first level of Tawhid Rububiyya. The second is Tawhid Uluhiyya. My God is Allah. And the 3rd one is, these are the attributes of my God. That is Tawhid Sifatu Wasma. Having a clear understanding of who your God is makes you know who you want to deal with. You are talking about Allah, who said, Inna Allah Ghafur Rahim. He Himself said He is Ghafur Rahim. Inna Allah Tawabur Rahim. Allah said He accepts Tawbah and is merciful. Inna Allah. So many places Allah has described Himself with things that you can actually connect with. Like I said, this is Allah. Now, with the clarity of this, that this is my God, this is who I serve, then you are there going into that's the first stage of your spiritualism. I am worshiping Allah. I have no deity to worship but Allah. Who is the God? Who is the Allah we are talking about? Huwa khaliqu samawati wal ardi wa ma fiha. Huwa Allahu alladhi la ilaha illa huwa al-mulkul quddus. You have this understanding that you are worshiping an holy God. You are worshiping the Almighty. This is the first stage of your Tawhid. Moving to the next one, we have the next stage of your spiritualism to be your Iman. Now, when we talk about Iman, I was joking with a sister sometimes ago, and I was like, when we talk about Iman, and there's this aspect of our Iman that said we should believe in the Qadar, khairuhu wa sharuhu. Now, this is where I'm coming to. To have a good Iman, after having a clear understanding of what, who do you have faith with? That is another aspect of it. Who do you have faith in? You already have faith in Allah, that's your God. And what kind of faith are you supposed to have in that God that you think is your God? Now, the spirituality of it is that you need to see you have faith in Allah the way Allah wants you to have faith in Him. In Surah Al-Baqarah, when Allah just started, He said, Bismillah, Bismillah Rahman Rahim. He said, Alif Lam Mim Zalika al-Kitabu la rayba fihi hudan lil muttaqin alladhina yu'minuna bil ghaib. Now this is it. You said alladhina yu'minuna bil ghaib. The first thing a believer believes that this God you are seeing or you are talking about, and you're not seeing, the God you are talking about is someone you cannot see. Alladhina yu'minuna bil ghaib. You believe in the unseen. You believe that I have not seen God. No eyes have ever seen Him. The closest we have is when we have Prophet Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, that he heard the voice of Allah, or that the Prophet Muhammad sallam was taken through the heavens by Prophet Angel Jubril, and he saw everything. That's the highest. No eyes has ever seen Allah. And when that was when the Prophet ﷺ was taken to see the Jannah and the Jahannama, and see that which of it will the people go, wherever. That is the highest. No eyes have seen Allah, and that is another level of connectedness with Allah. You are looking at Allah, sorry, you are hearing about Allah, and you know that you have not seen him. You can't describe him. The only thing is that you believe in those sifa in which he has described himself. Now, after believing in the al-ilmul ghaib, no, we believe in Allah. That is the first aspect of iman. Wa malaikatihi. Even these are part of ilmul ghaib we don't have. We have never seen any of the angels, but we believe they exist. We believe in it because that is because we are Muslims, not because we are fools. We should not try to be like those that what they said, وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ آمِنُوا كَمَا آمَنَ النَّاسِ قَالُوا أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. That's still in Surah Al-Baqarah. وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ آمِنُوا كَمَا آمَنَ النَّاسِ. When they were asked to believe like the people believe, they answered, should we believe like the fools believe? It is not foolishness that makes Muslims believe that we cannot see Allah. It is just a clear understanding that you cannot just see Allah. That is the hidayah, that is huda, that is the guidance Allah is giving you. You cannot see Allah and you still believe in him. Then we believed in the angels. These are the things that we have to. Why do we believe in it? One day the Prophet Islam, this is from Umar radiallahu anhu, one of the hadiths, the second hadith in Hadith Nawawi, that the Prophet Islam was sitting with a companion, and a man came with a white clothes. It looks like a traveler but had no stain on him, and he came to do the ask Prophet some questions. Then he said, tell me, teach me anil iman, or tell me about iman. And the Prophet Islam started telling him that to believe in Allah, wa malaikati, wa kutubi, wa rusuli, and tu'minuna billahi wa malaikati wa kutubi wa rusuli wa yawmil akhir wal qadar khairu wa sharru. Now look at this. All the aspects of our iman were being enumerated, explained to us in this hadith. Talking about to believe in Allah, we said that is ilm al-ghaib, and the prophet, and the angels that we do not see. We don't see the angels, yes, we believe in them. And the wakitabu and all the books, wakutubi rather, sorry for my the use of my Arabic nouns. Sorry about that, please. I'm very sorry. Now, like I was saying, what we had then was to believe in the books. And what are the books of Allah? We have all the books with the Injil, the Torah, Wasabura, and of course, Wal Quran. When Allah says, tells us to believe in all of these books, in another verse, we don't disbelieve in any of the prophets. We don't also disbelieve in any of the books. What has the Quran got to do? What is the difference between the Quran and all other books? This is just, the Quran is the seal of the books. It is the books that came to tell us about the misconceptions of other books. So as Muslims, our belief encompasses Allah, to believe in Allah, to believe in the angels, to believe in the books, to believe in the prophets, and to believe in Yawm al-Akhir. With this, we are going to have, this is the second stage, Yawm al-Akhir wal Qadar. And this is where my joke always comes from. When we're growing up, when our fathers from the Lekeo used to teach us that we should believe in Allah and the Qadar aspect of it especially. We look at that aspect of Qadar as in we should believe in Qadar. And this is where Allah also said, those are the beliefs when musibat, when they are faced with musiba, one fitna, qalu inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Whatever happens to a believer, he surrenders to Allah. Your spirituality should take you beyond believing that it is Yalama, the Yamulika, or my stepmother that is doing it, or my village people, as they used to say it. It is my village people that do not allow me to get the job. No, a Muslim strip itself of all those kind of beliefs, all those barbaric beliefs that point at something happened as a result of something. Everything to a Muslim is has been predestined, has been written that is going to happen like that. That is the second stage of our spiritualism. Now, the third stage of spirituality is al-ihsan, goodness. Now, I'm still going to mention how all of these affect our spiritual life in the month of Ramadan, and how can we make our Ramadan, this 2024 Ramadan, makes it a more spiritual Ramadan for us. What is al-ihsan, goodness? You can't claim to be spiritually upright when within you still nurse even an iota of wickedness. In Surah Al-Mu'min, when Allah was talking about Qad aflaha al-mu'minin, from that first verse to about the 10th and 11th verse, we are all readers of the Quran, Allah was mentioning those things we could do to make us a mu'min. A mu'min is someone who believes in Allah. And since we have gotten to the level of, inshallah, we've been able to, okay, I've scaled through my Tawheed. My level of Tawheed is up to the third stage. Then I look through into my, my Iman profile. I believe in Allah. I believe in the Prophet, the angels. I believe in the books of Allah. I believe in the prophets of Allah. I believe in Yawm al-Akhir, that I'm going back to my God one day. Then I believe in Qadar. If I've scaled through all these stages of my Iman, then I should come to myself and ask myself, what about goodness? What about goodness, my sister? How good are you to your neighbors? Now, let me say that this is reported from the Prophet ﷺ. He said, La tadkhulul al-jannah. He will not enter the Jannah. Ma lam ya'manu jaruhu bawa'iqo. When your neighbor, one whose neighbor is not safe from his evil. Evil is not until you have to put a core and a po and put a do and begin to go to Rita Meta and do all sorts. No. Evil is not until you decide to take a cutlass or machete to, kill someone or stab someone or do something. Evil is simple as anything bad you do towards any soul. And I mean any soul, be it humans or animals. Now we look at what goodness is. We look at goodness as what can I do? Even in Surah Al-Mu'min, as in lifting of a stone from the road, not to injure someone, is an act of goodness. The Prophet also went further and said, even a smile is a charity. I'm not even talking about sadaqah, but as goodness. I'm not talking about smiling as a sadaqah, but as goodness. How many people were you able to put a smile on their face? Your goodness does not even. You remember the story of the slut, the prostitute that were told that actually, hand the Jannah by giving water to a dog. We also remember the story of that pious man who left a cat in his house to travel, and the cat had nothing to eat. How he hand the wrath of Allah. Now, goodness extends to not just humanity, but to every animal. Be good. Be good. You are not also doing it. Be good with a proper niyyah. Be good without riyah. Be good without, trying to impress a certain group of people. And on this note, may Allah reward us, because I'm still going to buttress more in the near very soon, when I'll be talking about the sadaqah we do online. And wallahi, our intention can be good, but it kind of humiliates those we do it for, and we want to publicize. I am not talking about those people who collected the money from the members of the public that they want to do sadaqah. They probably need evidence for those people that their monies were properly utilized. Wallah alam. I'm not talking about that. But like, you just want to see that, see, oh, me, I'm helping somebody, and you have to put it on Facebook, on social media, for people to know that you're a good person, or to know that this Ramadan, instead of me in my house, we are cooking a lot of food every day. And people just come, we kill cow, we cook rice, and people are eating. We are not talking about that. We are talking about just sincere niyyah for doing that goodness, and how well you try to do away with riyah and oppression while you're doing so. The fourth level of this is liberation and self-discipline. Sisters in Islam, we can be good and still find wanting in some other places, such as slandering, backbiting, waste of time, israf. Self-discipline is the utmost character of a Muslim, ability to say, no, I'm not doing it. No to what you already know without anybody telling you not to do it. No, because you felt that this is not proper. This is not expected of a Muslim. This is not what is expected of me. You are a munaqaba, may Allah forgive us, and already you know dancing is not part of our deen. Then you choose to say, after all, I have covered my face and I can do this on TikTok. After all, they don't know who is doing it. Wallahi, you are embarrassing yourself, and you are abusing the hijab or the niqab. So ability to say no to your low desire. That quickly reminds me when the battle that was the one battle that the believers fought back then in the life of the Rasul, and when they came back, a lot of Muslims were dead, and Umar ibn Khattab had to summon all the Muslims that were going for another battle. Already people were injured, and so many people had died. And hearing from the Amir then, Umar ibn Khattab, that they are going back for another war, they were already frightened that what war can be. Can we go after all these injuries, after so many people had died? And he said it is nafsu jihad, which is more difficult. When your low desire becomes something that drives you to do whatever you want, and you feel like, after I'll do astaghfirullah. They say Allah is al-Ghafurur Rahim. They said if I do la ilaha illallah wa la sharika Allah 100 times, Allah will forgive all my sins. Shaitan is the most brilliant. La not la. It was so brilliant that, according to one of our fathers, he said you cannot be as experienced as Shaitan, la not la, because Shaitan la not la astaghfirullah actually begged Allah to give him respite till the end of life. It means that Shaitan has tried, even from Adam. Of course, we know he tried Prophet Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. He tried so many of the Sahabiya, or so many of the prophets. He still tried so many of the Sahabas, and he's still trying some people, no matter how pious they are. Shaitan has a bulk of experience on how to deceive people. And when I mean experience that comes with knowledge, he knows the woman, he knows humans as for what they are, he knows what they want, he knows how to get them. So he said, when Allah said, "Wala tatabi'u tuwati shaytan innahu lakum aduwwun bin," Allah was not joking. He knew what he created of him. Allah Azza wa Jalla warned us. And he himself knew himself, he knew his capability, that he actually, when you have to exchange words with your boss, the kind of infantry you have to tell your boss that, don't worry, maybe it's because of these people that you did this to me. I will come to them in their fronts, I'll come to them in their back. I'll go to them. He knew that he had that. He knows what he himself would do. Then Allah came back. Allah told them, you will not be able to do that to the believers, to my chosen ones. Now, if you are not spiritually connected, how can you be one of those chosen ones? And that is why your self-reference, your self-discipline comes in. When you know this thing is not right and you have that impulse, that thing that tells you just do it, don't worry, Allah no understand. You know, we had that slogan at the time, Allah too understands. Oh, you're long. Allah no more Nigeria sheri. All I know is that Allah is not going to judge Nigerians separately. We are all mankind, and Allah is Allah Adlu. He is fair. He is Akamula Hakimin. He is the judge of the judge. He did not discriminate. We don't have an ayah of the Quran that says, yeah, you are Nigerian. And you not say, nah. No. We are Nigerians. Allah knows our situation. It is a trial for us, and we have to live by the commandment of Allah. So by that, you have to have that self-reference to be able to connect with Allah. No matter the condition of your environment, of your situation, you don't go beyond the limits set by Allah. Now, rubbing it quickly due to time, the last one, I've talked about Hisan, I've talked about refrains and discipline. Liberating yourself, yes. Liberating is part of the discipline. Liberating yourself from the shackles of shaitan and the shayateens. We have shayateens among humanity too. I have this thing that I used to say. My popular prayer for those who are very close to me. I'll simply say, Teba sọ pé Ọlọ́run má ṣe wá láwa nìkan, ààbò àdúrà ni. It's an incomplete prayer. To say Ọlọ́run má ṣe mí lémi nìkan, wallahi, is an incomplete prayer. The complete prayer is Ọlọ́run fèèyàn re tì wá. Because if you are the only one and you are surrounded by I don't want to say by bad people, they whisper to you on what to do. At the time of your trial, these people are the people you cry to. These people are the ones that gives you succor and make you feel like everything is okay, you are fine, just do this, and they are advising you. If the advice that they are giving you is contrary to the Sunnah or the way a Muslimah or Muslim should live their life, then you'll be sinning against Allah. So when you see Allah we feel like it's an incomplete. Who actually do you want to be your company? May Allah surround us with good people. May Allah surround us with good people. Good companionship. Liberate yourself from people who talk evil into your head, who encourage you to do bad things, even in the face of, like, somebody is hurting me, then I feel like, oh my sister, ṣáṣe sùúrù, má oyin òní kò ṣe gbà fọ́lọ́run bá láyé ọ̀dẹ̀ ní ẹ́ ó ṣe máa gbà bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n náà ṣe tẹ́ fún padà tit for tat ní ànábì inú Kùránì náà sọ tó máa fọ́ ẹ létí fọ́ tiẹ̀ padà ní. Can you actually do that? That you actually commensurate what was given to you or what was done to you back, and you know exactly that is not possible. And the more reason why we need to liberate ourselves from people like that. That was supposed to be part of liberation and self-discipline. The last part of it is righteousness, how to live a virtuous life. Well, this can actually go along with insan, being good, but I think it's a little bit ahead of that. Being virtuous is like just live according to the way you are supposed to live. This life is simple. I don't need to do anything extra to make a life other than what has been spelled out in the Quran. But when we were young, I attended this common in Lekeu, and one of the songs we used to sing then was that ohun mẹ́ta péré nígbádùn ilé ayé, ṣóhun mẹ́ta péré nígbádùn ilé ayé, ká jẹ ká sì mú ká sì wọṣọ tó dára, Kalaya tohun wa kasigbo ayo. These are just the three things. For us to eat, consumption, eat, drink and eat. Wear your clothes. Like, I want to wear this clothes. Live a simple aṣọ tó wù mí wọ̀ ni mo wọ̀. I'm living my life. Not to impress. Okay, I love Guinea, I sew Guinea, but then under my Guinea, I'm supposed to, under my jilbab, I'm wearing what I want to wear. Then having a good spouse and good children. Those are just the three things. They're just the three enjoyments of this life. They are just the three personal things you consume. Your car, your house is not there. Because they are like not a content maker just did not quite long. Your car is just like you pay your transportation for the period of time. You might not even be the one that would actually use the car to expiration. Your house, you are not likely to use the house till the day it will collapse. It's just temporal. It's something that someone else can pick and enjoy, but your personal enjoyment is in the food you eat, is in the clothes you wear, and in the spouse that you marry. Chikena, Kobakaba. So we do not have just this live a simple life. I think everything you want to do, everything you want to just make it that you are living your virtuous life without hurting people. How does all of this translate to spiritualism in the month of Ramadan? That is exactly where we are going. All of these English grammar, illustrations, akaways that we have brought together as a presentation now, how does it affect the month of Ramadan? First, if you are a Muslim entering into the month of Ramadan and you want to attain that level of spirituality, connectedness with your Almighty, have a clear understanding of your Tawheed. Who is your fasting, your Ibadah? Who are you doing it for? You create a competition for Quran now. Now, okay, who is going to read the most? How many Quran are you going to finish in the month of Ramadan? In a family, we can have people have done 2, have done 3. Now, that kind of ibadah. The question is, sometimes you lose the reward of doing so because it is now a competition, because something is like you are competing with someone. I'm not saying it's not good to compete in goodness, so I didn't say that, but we just need to look at how we are doing it. Don't forget your connectedness with Allah in terms of your clear understanding of your Tawheed. You cannot claim to be a Muslimah. May Allah help those who are doing it, and in the month of Ramadan you still believe that something they have one kinekon that I must attend that and my mommy will complain or something will happen. We just need to have this understanding that our iman, once your tawhid is one leg broken, may Allah help us. And of course, we just have a tripod of it. Just pray that it is not your hulihiyya and your sifatu asma that has problem, because otherwise everything you ever place on that table is probably going to be on the floor. Every ibadah that you ever place on the table of such tawhid, what a tree just be thrown off. Do I disbelieve in any of this? How does this actually not going to be disrupted alongside with the Ramadan? Make sure your belief in Allah is intact. You don't have a shaking iman. There are several instances that your iman can be blown off. May Allah forbid. In the advent of a mishap you are not expecting. We are all not safe from this. I say, Ọlọ́run dáná, Ọlọ́run kí ló wá ṣeré eléyìí fún mi sí? Ọlọ́run dá o. You know, when you are wailing, things like that just come out of your mouth and you believe that what is it that you are uttering? Perhaps you might be lucky to have people who are very faithful. That's why it's good to have, they begin to cover your matter. Ọlọ́run ló ń bá wí. No, you don't talk about that. We just need to put our faith back in order for this Ramadan, for us to be spiritually compacted in the month of Ramadan. Then Hisan, our goodness. Please let us be good even with our tongue. You can say your Talil, you can say your Subhanallah wa bihamdi instead of slandering. I have a friend, may Allah bless her. One thing I know in Ramadan is that first and foremost, you won't have to visit her in the house. She's always not available. And when you ask her, she's not available. It's not that she traveled. She just wants to reduce the number of people that come visit her in Ramadan to keep her spirituality in check. You are Sister Tamedu, Sister Lakashegbe, you are roaming about in the month of Ramadan. This my Hausa people, may Allah bless them. Most of them just travel back from Lagos, from Lagos to their villages because they want to reduce the number of the level of distraction they get in the month of Ramadan. If you cannot travel or wherever you are, you can just keep yourself in your house. Keep yourself, reduce the number of times you go out to actually stay more connected with your God. Keep yourself busy with ibadah, with your tilawa, with your adhkars. You can be washing. I remember there was a story I heard about a man who prayed to Allah that I wanted to see a particular imam, and Allah Azza wa Jalla granted his desire by making the imam spend a night with him without him knowing the imam. And what the man wants, that I don't want to go much into the story. At the end of the day, the man asked him, what is it that you do that made Allah to grant your request? He said, when I'm busy at night, he was a baker. When I'm busy at night baking bread, I only say, Subhanallah wa bihamdi, Subhanallah al-Azim. He keeps his tongue moistured with Subhanallah wa bihamdi, Subhanallah al-Azim. If anybody had heard the story, you know what transpired that made the imam having to come and spend the night with that guy. Not that the imam planned it, not that Allah instructed the imam. Condition, situation warranted that the man had nowhere to sleep than to beg to stay in the bakery of this man to pass the night. And all through the night, truly, this was what this man was saying. So the imam approached him. What is it that you want? I said, there is this imam that I want. I used to hear his voice, about his lecture and all that. And I pray Allah just grants me the opportunity to meet him. Who is this person? The baker mentioned. And that was the imam who was asking him the question. Allah created the situation for him. Keep your tongue moistured with the remembrance of Allah, such that your request can be granted. Also, that is ihsan. Be good to your neighbors, the sadaqah, the animals, the people. Greet them. Send azkar. There are several ibadah we can do that are goodness towards humanity. I beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to strengthen us in doing good. Wallah is not easy. Part of goodness is to do tawbah. If you know you have done something, this is the month of Ramadan. Ramadan is coming, the month of forgiveness. Make a sincere tawbah to your God on things that you have done to humanity or to animal that nobody knows. Don't go about seeking forgiveness. In fact, you can try to, some things that you do that Allah Azza wa Jalla said, the likes of slander, that you don't get to see the forgiveness of Allah except that person forgives you. So now be sincere to yourself, because you are not doing it to that person. You first of all need that person's forgiveness, then go back to Allah, then Allah will grant you, because it's a conditional one. Let's avoid every bad thing that will probably going to affect, like lying, slandering, You know, we unconsciously do that a lot. We do it a lot. May Allah forgive us, especially these women folk that we have. We can do all in the name of gist. We can do a but what does not concern Sister Mamadou, Sister Lagbaja and Tamedu. How she bought one in Jada. Hey, the buy, you don't know Sister Tamedu. She wants to buy like that, man. Not say one global loss, say ya balo lodo ike lo shodi, and getting there. As Allah would have recall yen. But like what you have just said, as simple as it is, you are slandering your sister. All in the name of Jesus. Would you keep quiet like our one time first lady said? Would you just keep quiet and face your ibadah? Have you done enough for yourself? Keep yourself busy with something productive, something rewarding, and stop talking about other people's affairs. Everybody has enough on their dishes. By just talking about it, discussing it, you gain nothing, but you earn yourself the need for Allah's forgiveness, the need for that person's forgiveness. And funny enough, you can't go back to the person and say, Sister Idaya, you know what happened that day? I did not know. I was just doing this all in the name of Jesus, and I said this. You can't do that. So save yourself and be matured by keeping your mouth shut. Looking for update of how their nikah or divorce eventually ended. Keeping yourself busy how somebody's polygyny was good or bad. Báwo dẹ̀ lọ ṣe wá ń ṣe ṣé wọ́n jọ ń gbé papọ̀ ni? A lot of all this unwarranted information that we look about, that we search about ourselves. May Allah help us. May Allah help us. May Allah help us, because we indulge in this a lot in the month of Ramadan. And I'm dwelling more on this because if you can abstain from it, it will help us a lot in connecting with Allah in a more spiritual way. Discipline yourself. I'm moving to the next level. Discipline yourself. Refrain yourself from bad companies. Yes, we know. Your conscience tells you the truth better than anybody can do it. You know those friends that when you go to, they give you a blunt advice, even when you are not comfortable with it. And you know those ones that will, of course, will accept the gist, and you table it on the table and start butchering, eating the flesh of your sister. And all of you will now still talk about those who eat, who eats, these man-eaters. However, in the spiritual realms, in the aspect of spirituality in Islam, we are all man-eaters because we eat the flesh of our blood, as the Prophet has described it. You just want to talk about Iya Samodi, Juweriya, Abdurrahman. You just want to bring all those issues to table without any benefit from it, which kills our spirituality. I beg Allah, we are all, in fact, including the speaker, I'm a culprit too. May Allah help us and help our spirituality. And lastly, let us keep ourselves busy with virtuous good, virtual deeds. Remember the woman that the Prophet made janazah for, even in absentia. You are not too big to wash the house of Allah. You are not too big to mop. In fact, I know you can afford to pay a cleaner, but if you are too busy, your work time doesn't permit you to do things that you can just sit down and ask Allah. Despite all that you have given me, you can dedicate some Juma in the month of Ramadan, go to some mosques on your own, do ibadah. These are deeds, even when you can use your money. Do it because you are doing it for Allah. Wallahi, this will not decrease your wealth, but rather increase your daraja to Allah, your level of connectedness to Allah. On the final note, I beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us to refrain ourselves. Look at the points we've mentioned from the beginning till now. Doing your askar, making charity, avoiding slander, have a clear understanding of what you are doing in Islam and stay by it. If by Allah we are sincere and true to our iman, we do all this for a whole month. Nothing debar us from continuing doing this after Ramadan. You can do that and more even after Ramadan. The sadaqah you want to do it lillahi wa rasuli. Remember I said we did not I didn't say that you should not do sadaqah. But if you know a lot of people put money in your care, you can do that. Be making them a less of a human when we are packaging ororo and gari and we are giving it to them. In as much as we need evidences, we can send our evidences privately to those whose money we use. Except, of course, we don't know who and who sent it. We just want everybody to know that we have delivered their message. But by Allah, we do not need to actually publicize any act of ibadah that we are doing, because our spiritualism is between us and the Almighty. I beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept this as an act of ibadah from us. I beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us attain the highest level of spirituality. Lastly, I want to end this talk with one hadith Qudusi of the Prophet ﷺ. He said, when Allah loves so and so person, he calls angel Jibril and tell him that he, Allah Azza wa Jalla, loves son Lagbaja, son of Lagbaja. Then angel Jibril announced to the gathering of the angels, and they all love this person. Then Allah Azza wa Jalla put his love in the mind of his creatures. So I beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us to attain a level that Allah would make every living organisms, every living creature to love us. May Allah Azza wa Jalla accept this and as an act of ibadah, forgive the speaker and reward you for your time, and reward every one of us for listening. May Allah forgive the speaker and forgive the listener wherever we have made mistake. May Allah perfect our deeds. Allahumma balighna shahr Ramadan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.